You're live.
Uh, Hey, hello and welcome to session 12 of Cyberpunk 2049 Solid State Society. Today with us we have Tet, who plays Yang. There's someone listening in. And we have a new player joining our group, Slip, who will be playing a special someone in Yang's life. Um, at the end of the last session, Yin, Trauma, and Machine found themselves in the stack. Yin was there looking for Neuro, who had disappeared with the only copy of the program that Yin and her group are trying to sell to various members in Icarus One. Yin, given the circumstances and information she had at hand, came to the conclusion that Neuro might be trying to double cross the group. She proceeded to talk Trauma and Machine into helping her out. They go to the stacks to try and find Neuro. So happens that when they get to the stacks is in the process of a riot. Two rival gangs are fighting each other in the open streets, trying to take control over a piece of the stacks. Um, and as it is with the stacks, nobody gives a shit. Um, it's the unlawful zone of Icarus One. The police, the paramilitary groups, nobody goes in there. If you're not from the stacks, you don't belong there. As Yin, Trauma, and Machine make their way through, they meet solid resistance. In the process, they ally themselves with one group, hoping to uh, get to Neuro's place in one piece. Eventually, the group they ally with shows him a path to Neuro's place. It so happens that the path goes through a stronghold that the rival faction holds, and that's where the session ended, with multiple rival factions controlling an area, with two people controlling rocket launchers that are being constantly fired upon the location. That is where the previous session ended. Tonight's session is taking place about 6 hours or so before that. Um, and as the eye over Icarus One starts looking for our group, it catches notice of an individual that has been mentioned uh, in the sessions before, has been alluded to, seems to hold a power over Yang. And as the eye looks around, it finds this person, Kumiko, Yang's boss, Yang's lover, Yang's mentor, and we shall find out more in today's session what the relationship between Kumiko and Yang is. With that, as the eye starts zooming in closer, finds Kumiko's office and Kumiko within it. Go ahead, Slip.
You see a woman of medium height. She's wearing a midnight blue silk dress, tight enough to emphasize both feminine curves and a strong athletic build, but cut modestly enough that she wouldn't be confused as one of the hostesses here at the Lotus, not a girl for hire. She has dark hair and sensual features and a very direct gaze. Takeda Tsuko, Kumiko, the Little Death, Spider, Bitch Queen. You may have heard of me. My legacy was stolen, and I will reclaim it, whatever the cost. Takeda Enterprises, as it currently stands with Takeda Haruto at its head, will fall. My vision has never faltered, and the seeds I planted years ago in young Takeda Hiroyuki, my Yang, have taken root and begin to bear fruit. I was scorned, and now I am feared. Some still spit when they say my name, but never to my face. These rules and taboos, they are outdated, meaningless, and apply only to the weak. If you knew all that I had done to get to where I am, it would shock you. But that is nothing. I have no place for me for moral quandaries. Only power matters, and the tools that can help me acquire what is mine.
And as Kumiko is caught in her thoughts, she's scanning various documents that pertain to the true Adhikar faction, the daily goings-on about her company, and one particular report catches her eye. Certain withdrawals have been made from the account, large sums of money have been transferred, nothing substantial, but large enough that it catches her eye, and she sees that Yang is at the center of it. Money disbursements have been made to various individuals, new individuals that have not been part of the true Adhikar faction. And there seems to be some mention of Yang's older sister, Yin. How does Kumiko feel when she sees all of this on her computer screen?
She looks at the computer screen, and as usual, her expression does not, it's frozen. It doesn't reveal what she's feeling or thinking, but she feels a small icy dagger of fear and uncertainty. Why is Yang keeping secrets? There are only a few possible explanations, and none of them are good. And the introduction of Chiyoko in his life again, that's a complication we don't need. He's always brought out the softer side of Yang, and that's not something that she wants to encourage. Also, she can't afford to have his loyalties divided. She sits back and steeples her fingers together and thinks, devises a mental strategy for how to approach this, how to approach Yang, how to bring him back into line, and considers all the possible directions the conversation might take. If she thinks that there's a possibility that Yang might come to the Lotus today, she brings in one of the girls, not one of the hostesses, but someone who does some grunt work around the place, the daughter of one of the hostesses, and tells her to keep an eye out and to alert her immediately when Yang is on the premises, but not to let him know that she is here. After that, she goes to work fixing her hair, removing and then reapplying her makeup so that it's perfect, making sure that the first impression she gives is always one of being completely collected and completely present and with nothing of her insecurities or uncertainties showing. Only the perfect self-assured composure that she needs to instill the confidence and sense of authority that she wants to.
And as Kumiko is getting dressed for the evening, the camera and the eye over Icarus One realizes it catches somebody else in action. And we zoom out of Kumiko's office and zoom in to the Lotus Bar, the chairman's room, where we find Yang talking to what looks like a street gang member. Go ahead, Yang.
Yang is standing, pacing back and forth, listening to the report of this street gang member, his arms laced behind his back, one hand grabbing the wrist of the other arm. He walks very erect, almost on his tippy toes, as if he was a cat ready to strike at any time, full of pent-up anxiety. His muscles seem to even be tense as he's simply walking around, listening to what this man has to say.
As you requested, sir, we followed Ian and the other two gentlemen that were with her. They went to the Untitled as you had told us. There we saw Yin make contact with the bartender. She was in the midst of conversation when the hacker, he intervened, much to the displeasure of Yin and the bartender. However, Yin excused herself and proceeded to scout the place. The hacker and the bartender were in conversation for quite some time. We believe the other gentleman, I think he's the medic of the team, we're not sure. He carries himself in an extremely militaristic fashion. I believe he might have spotted us, but I don't think he made the connection. Then the hacker, he spoke to the bartender. The bartender proceeded to give him a drink. The bartender then made a call. I think it was close to an hour later where this older gentleman with glasses and balding hair, he came in. He seemed to know the hacker from a previous engagement. He too was not very pleased to see the hacker. They exchanged a few words. The hacker was a little animated with him. The gentleman, the older gentleman who was balding, he gave the hacker a piece of paper, at which time the hacker left the premises and the area immediately. Yin and the other person, I believe his name, and he kind of looks at his notes and he looks at images on the notes.
Machine.
No, sir. I'm getting to that. This was Trauma. As per my notes from you, that's the medic. Trauma observed Neuro, that's the hacker, leave, did not stop him. And when Yin came aware of the fact, she was highly displeased. She tried to, by the looks of it, contact him, but the calls were not responded to. They then proceeded. Trauma and Yin proceeded to what looks like a drug den, where Yin left for a bit, came back, and she was definitely armed when they did. At which time my gang followed them into the stacks. They are currently in the stacks, and yes, the machine that you spoke about, he is en route as well. Sir, you need to realize that our street intelligence tells us that the stacks are going to have a riot tonight. 3 members of your gang are headed that way. That's all I have, sir. He kind of takes a step back. He's clearly, very differential to you, Yang, and his body language, I mean, he's a street thug, but in front of you it's cowed and...
Yeah, Yang, as he's pacing, kind of goes over to the window to look out of the club, and he's kind of just staring out, almost as if the man wasn't there, his arms still laced behind his back. Takes a very deep breath. Nero. He looks over his shoulder at the gang member. Do you think you can get in the stacks?
We can try, sir, but we are not as well equipped as your team. And he kind of winces when he says that. He's kind of expecting either a verbal or a physical lashing. We can insert someone, but we cannot take on the gangs that are about to fight.
No, that is not what I want you to do. I want you to find Nero and bring him back to me, alive.
We can do that. I can have my members find them.
Whatever you must do, do not destroy any of his property.
No, we shall not.
It is important. And then after you have the hacker, have someone go into his apartment or whatever other shithole he lives in and secure it until I arrive. Do you understand?
You are going to the stacks too, sir.
Eventually, when I need to. This is important. The hacker is important. That is why Yin is after him as well. Yin is a problem. She is making mistakes already. I trust in you to catch this hacker and bring him to me. If Yin already captures him, very well, let her capture him. Do not hinder her. But if she fails, you must succeed. You must succeed. Do I make myself clear?
His face tightens. He lets out a deep breath. I shall not fail you. We will apprehend the hacker. I will.
If you need more supplies here, this is important. And he walks over and immediately would scan his hand on the man's wrist to give him 5,000 credits.
And his eyes kind of widen when he sees that. Thank you, Yang-san.
Son? He kind of looks down at you.
He's like, Yang-sama. And
Do not mistake me. This is blood money. Every credit I have given you is a piece of your skin I will cut off if you fail. Do you understand?
he just nods his head and he feels he's made the deal with the devil at this point. Yes, we shall not fail you. I will also leave 2 of my gang members here to escort you into the stacks.
Fine. Go. If you succeed, I will double that payment. I'll take it out of Nero's end. He seems to be speaking to himself.
The dragon gang member, seeing that you have ended the conversation on your end, gives a short, quick bow and then quickly leaves the room. At this point, you're alone.
Kumiko was notified as soon as Yang had entered the premises, and she's been waiting for this conversation to end.
And Kumiko, as you're coming close, you will see this dragon gang member who's exiting the club hurriedly, extremely worried. You will catch that.
Okay. Yang, you feel a hand grasp your shoulder gently and then release it quickly. And a familiar voice says, "Hello, Yang." You smell her before you see her because she's wearing her signature scent, ambergris.
He typically, Kumiko would know, he's typically very anxious type of person, but when he catches your scent and hears your voice, his body kind of relaxes into almost a submissive slouch slightly, where he normally stands very tall, chest puffed out, that sort of thing.
She walks around to face you, And she says, Yang, you have been so busy, but I think we need to speak. Catch up.
Of course, my Amaterasu. What may I do for you?
Not here. Follow me to my office. And without waiting for a response, she turns on one stiletto heel and sachets toward her office. She stops once on the way. She sees this young woman, one of the hostesses, who's almost too lovely to be real, having an intimate conversation with a well-to-do middle-aged man. And as Kumiko begins to pass them, she reverses very suddenly, and her eyes lock on a tiny stain on the woman's dress on the shoulder. Her face gets really hard for a minute, and then she relaxes it back into a bland expression. She grabs the woman by her upper arm, firm but not rough, and leans over to whisper something in her ear. Kumiko keeps her expression very blandly pleasant, but whatever she says makes the hostess stiffen up with maybe fear or alarm in her eyes. Kumiko just pats her on the shoulder, the one with the stain, and resumes her walk to the back office.
Yang simply watches the exchange, more or less impassively, thinking of saying something, but just simply pushes past and follows Kumiko at this point.
As you enter Kumiko's private sanctum at the Lotus, nothing much has changed since the last time you were here. The room is still fairly sparsely furnished, more Spartan, with some selective touches, a tatami floor, a katana and wakizashi on one wall, an ornate teak kneeling table and cushions, a painting of a butterfly garden on one wall. Her desk is completely clear, as usual. On a shelf directly ahead, below the swords, you see the 4 unusual boxes. One of them is new. There were only 3 before. Each box is an enameled wooden cube on legs, just large enough to hold one severed human head. Between each box is a bottle of fine sake. Kumiko grabs one of the bottles and walks over to the desk and perches on it, crosses her legs. Hiro, it has been too long. It is fortunate that I caught you here. It seems we have been ships passing in the night these days.
Business all for your greater glory and your return to the mistress of Taketi Enterprises as always.
I'm glad to hear that. She just looks at him for a long moment, just looking you over. Looks like she's, I don't know, looking for something. I'm concerned, though, at this distance that has developed between us. How did that happen? Is this some sort of cry for attention?
Of course not. I am above and beyond such things. There's no distance, simply business.
Well, I would hope that you were above such things, but I don't know how else to explain it, my dragon. These secrets you have been keeping from me, you must have known I would notice. This, and she indicates the computer, turns on the screen. It's money spent with no explanations, no cooperation, no consultation. I want to think you want my attention. The alternative explanation is that you do not trust me and that you think I am too stupid to notice.
He looks at you up and down and almost goes slack-jawed for a moment and drops to a knee, My Amaterasu, I would never think of anything of the sort. It was simply imperative that I move quickly. I am most sorry of my misdeeds, and he kind of pushes his forehead to the ground in the lowest bow possible, a bow that a peasant would give a lord.
She drops down from the desk and just stands above you for maybe 60 whole seconds. What is this about? Why this secret? Tell me.
Without raising his head, he keeps his forehead pinned to the ground, causing his voice to be somewhat muffled and him having to raise his voice. My Amaterasu, it is simply, I found a way for our dreams to come true, to be accelerated, so we do not have to worry about the credits of mere whores to rise us up. No, we can strike at fathers. And you notice that he almost said Sama, which is a rather big no-no probably for you, I would assume.
Oh, yes. She raises an eyebrow, kind of catching that might have just been about to happen.
Yeah.
Initiative is a good thing, but patience and prudence, these are our allies in the long game. You know this. You may stand.
He rises up to one knee, his right knee coming up first as traditional for a samurai, so he could draw his sword off his left hip if he even had it with him. But it's such a practice motion that he does it, and then rises to his feet and bows again as is proper, without saying anything.
So, how is Giaco? Where does she come in?
She is... Well, to be honest, she called me randomly a few days ago. She was injured, and I was curious, I suppose. And I went to see her. She was on the streets, bleeding and dying. But it's worked out in our favor, I think. She wants father dead as much as I do. That has always been certain. Let her wield the blade and step before me. It matters not so long as his head is on the floor.
Yang. If I believed that you were really this objective, I would applaud this line of thinking, but you kept this a secret. And you kept it a secret. And she gets very close to him and points a finger at his face, draws a line down the side of his jaw, because you are ashamed, because you know that your feelings for your sister is weakness. It comes from this irrational bond, because she is your sibling. You were born that way. There was no choice in it. Perhaps there is some common purpose, but when you give in to these feelings, I worry. I worry that you aren't ready, that you are still too young to fully commit yourself to our task. She pats you lightly on the face and turns her back, walks away from you for several feet before turning around. I wanted you to be ready. Perhaps my feelings have blinded me to your youth.
No, mistress, I am ready. It is not feelings of love or devotion. I was the one who convinced her to run away from Jutoro during their wedding. I was the one who separated her from father, just as you asked me.
Yes, that is true. But be honest with yourself above all. Do not fool yourself into thinking that you can maintain objectivity if you cannot. And do not try my trust. If you, my love, and she gets closer again, my only true friend, were to betray me, it would be a great deal to bear. She reaches up and touches his face again. Just too much to bear. Remember that your sister Chiako is broken, hero. A broken tool cannot be relied on. If only I had gotten there earlier, perhaps I could have saved her as well, but regret is an emotion with no purpose. Leadership belongs to those with a pure vision and the patience to see it through and the will to sacrifice what is necessary. Tell me that you still have that will, that your sister does not weaken that resolve.
Height, the new world Bushido. I have it. I follow it. Nothing will stop me from my purpose of bringing down Takeda to your feet, where you may rule over it as is deserved through your blood.
That is good, Yang. I hear the truth in the words that you speak. Don't imagine that I don't understand the pain of sacrifice. I have sacrificed and suffered. My body, my dignity, my friends, anyone who cared for me. I ask from you nothing that I would not and have not given myself. So, what do you think your sister plans to do? She says, changing the subject. What have you learned about it?
She is planning...
And how...
He cuts
Continue.
off. She's certainly planning to kill father. That is all she really cares about. But we have found a interesting piece. A program that can break any security system in the world.
Oh. And who is
Yes.
this? Tell me more about this new piece on the field.
This program is a program, but unfortunately, one of Yin's contacts, a man named Hiroshima, a gaijin, he was contracted to make copies of this, which we were to sell. With this money, we would prepare our fight against Takeda. Unfortunately, it appears that he has went rogue. The other three that we have hired are merely muscle, more or less.
This Hiroshima must be found. I assume that you are on top of that, then, that you have sent trackers to find him.
Yes, I have sent the dragon. They will find him, and I will find him, if necessary. If Yin finds him, I am sure she will kill him and take back the program. But in case she fails, as she oft will do, I will find him.
Yes. Yes, you will. Yang, what would happen if your father were to pass now? what do we know about the exact state of the inheritance for Takeda Enterprises?
The Korean boy, my half-brother, he would technically be awarded, I believe.
Then we must not let Yin act too soon.
Yes, it was my intention to have the hacker hack Takeda and the local government to change and falsify the inheritance to you, my Amaterasu. He bows.
It does open up a lot of possibilities. And she seems to soften for a minute. But Yang, and she returns to her stern demeanor, how long have I been working to right this wrong? Years
Hi.
and more than years. We must not rush something and mess it up. You should have consulted me, or at least have let me know that you were working on something so that it did not interfere with efforts that I have, or that we did not double resources on something that, because I was not aware of something you were doing, which naturally I was, but you need to make sure that I know the details.
Yes. Hi. He just bows his head, chin to chest.
My Oni.
There is one other thing that I have been planning.
Tell me.
Do you remember the Lotus Tower? The one that used to have the lotus blossom tree? So, out of character, you probably would know this. Yang has always been obsessed with it. It was a butterfly garden that his father built a skyscraper over top and tried to put the garden inside the skyscraper, and all the butterflies died and the lotus trees died.
Ro, she's very aware of that. In the description of her office, I described a painting. It's an impressionistic painting, but it is of a butterfly garden, and it's just a subtle reminder of something that he's lost and his part of his motivation for what he does.
Right. That is my next goal, to destroy that building, blow it up.
I'm sorry, you cut out. Can you say that
Oh,
again?
yeah, he says, my next task after we recover the program is to destroy that building, the Lotus Tower. Sow chaos in our enemy.
I know that building is a personal affront to you. I have no objection to that, and I think it would cause an appropriate amount of chaos that we could work to our advantage.
And another thing, I have been keeping tabs on Jotaro Wantabe. I do believe Yin could bring the Wantabe Corporation on our side against Takeda. If perhaps she were to wed Jotaro at last, he is still unwed. My sources tend to believe that he still favors my sister.
At this, Kumiko does look a little surprised. Really? Does he know of the sort of life your sister lives or has lived?
I doubt it.
She pursues escape and pleasure at the cost of her own free agency. I do not know if she could be reliably convinced to give it up, but it is a potential avenue worth exploring, I suppose. I hesitate to pin anything on so unreliable a tool. Don't get your hopes up, Yang.
Oh, I do not think she needs to give it up. What is better for an honorable fool like Jotaro? A wounded bird to take in and mend.
I suppose he might believe that he is capable of that. I do not understand people who waste their time on such sentimental pursuits when the only real change that can be made is through the acquisition of power.
Hey.
That is interesting, though. I had not suspected that that was something that could still be accomplished. Chiyoko. I do not know what she has that gives her such a hold on people. Perhaps it is the wounded bird people see. And she gives a sidelong glance at Yang.
He just shakes his head. Not I, sister. Not I, Kumiko. She is but a tool.
Yes. A broken tool. Remember that. Very well, Yang. Do you feel cleaner now that you have confessed yourself?
Hi. I do apologize, my Amaterasu, as I have said. It was not my intention to deceive you. Foolishness.
Do you imagine that I want you to bear these burdens alone? That my shoulders are not strong enough to share the load?
No. Your shoulders are strong enough for both of us. You have brought me out of the darkness, delivered me from my suffering, my horror of my father, my mother, my sister. I owe everything I am, your teachings of this new world Bishito, all to you.
It is true, but it has not been entirely unselfish on my part, Yang. I do dream of having a willing and equal partner in this. And I see that in you. I've always seen that potential. And that is why I have expended so much of my time and energy into teaching you and to helping you grow.
I am yours to command.
Yes, for now. But you do have the potential to be great. And she finally allows herself to get very close. And she reaches up and takes his face in both hands. Just stay true. And stay strong. And she pulls his face down and kisses him.
He kisses her back without saying a word.
And unless there's something else that we're going to add, I think that we can kind of fade to black there.
Yeah.
So as Yang and Kumiko have a meeting of minds, Kumiko's office, and Yang confesses to his transgressions. The eye of Icarus One catches certain movement. Someone that many people have been looking for, many people have been seeing. It thinks it might have found this someone, it doesn't know for sure. And it starts flying over Icarus One, over a particular building. Gets to the building, goes into a room, and the room is littered with artwork, modern, ancient. There is a man there at the center of the room, hunched over a painting. He's applying some final touches to what looks like a grotesque imagery. The camera can't quite catch the angle right, cannot make the image out. The man, after applying his few brushstrokes, straightens up, stands to his full height, and turns around and starts cleaning his brushes. And there is a faint smile on his face as he cleans his brushes and looks at the artwork, pleased with his achievement. There is a knock on the door. A polite knock, a refined knock. He says a single word, enter. A young man walks through the room. He cannot be more than 20 years old. He is well dressed, business suit, but he also wears an interesting head rig, kind of harkening back to the heyday of the samurai, a warrior's mask. But the face does not match the resemblance of the lineage that this man in the room seems to herald. He steps forward, politely bows. The man says, "Ah, my son, you have come. What news?" The young man doesn't say anything. He just hands over a data slab and stands there. The older gentleman in the middle of the room takes the data slab, takes a couple of minutes to read the contents. He looks up. Well done. Well done. Prepare a response, an adequate response. Make it loud, make it messy, make it known. The young man bows, says a single word, "Hi," and he leaves the room. The gentleman by now goes to the window. It's raining outside. He looks out over the horizon of Icarus One. In the distance he sees a tall structure with a single word on it. Takeda Enterprises. Come at me. I am ready for you. And with that, the screen fades to black. Hey, and welcome back. This is the second part of session 12. Tonight with us we have Tet, Matt, Rogue, Trauma, or better known as Ghost, and myself. Welcome to CP 2049 Solid State Society. In the first half of the session, we met a new character in the game, Kumiko, who happens to be related to Yang in many ways. Take a long time to explain that in this intro. But to suffice it to say, she pulls the strings. They had an interesting conversation. Yang was put on notice, to say the least. And at this point, Yang is back at his office, planning his next move. He's just gotten reports that his sister, Yin, Trauma, and Machine are deep within the stacks. The riot is in progress, and a lot of casualties also. Nobody in Icarus 1 gives a fuck because it's the stacks. But Yang sits in his office, worried, concerned that his investments might all go up in flames and potentially have to answer to Yin. With that, he makes a decision that he must act and act now. The scene changes. The eye finds Lotus Blossom Club, and right there we see Yang come out of the Lotus Blossom in a hurry. There are two Dragon Gang members. As soon as they see him, they get in the car. The car is started. Yang gets in the back. No words are exchanged, and they peel off from the club. The time in the car is silent. No words are exchanged. The Dragon members know where Yang is to go. Yang is focusing on his task ahead. Eventually, three of them get to the stacks. The stacks, as they get out of the car, is in complete chaos. There are dead bodies strewn everywhere. And clearly, by the looks of it, one gang has come on top. This gang now patrols the streets. There are not as many innocents. Almost everyone on the street is armed, but one gang clearly has the upper hand. Yang, this is the scene you see when you get out of the car and the true Dragon Gang members flank you.
Turns and kind of spits in disgust of having to be here. He's might have never been here before, or maybe just on business for Kumiko in the last couple years. Do I have any intelligence of where Noro lives at all?
Yes. So the Dragon Gang member looks around and he says, "Sir, it seems that the cryptics have gotten the upper hand in the fight. I can make contact and find details about our team. I also know where Neuro lives, but the direction in which we must go, I can still hear some heavy gunfire." And with that, you kind of realize that there is still gunfights happening in the distance.
Yeah, Yang just turns to the gang member. Do it then, quickly.
Yes, sir. And with that, he steps away. You can see that he approaches one of the gang members. There's some discussion. A few moments pass by, and he comes back. "Sir, there is good news and bad news. Which would you like first?"
Just tell me.
Well, the way to Neuro's apartment, it's blocked. There is an alternate route, but the alternate route is right now under the control of a rival gang, and it is right now a war zone. It seems that Yin and her group have allied themselves with the gang that has come on top, but right now we are at an impasse. They can lead us there to where Yin and the rest are.
Fine. He
All
just
right,
looks
so
at the man expectantly.
he looks at you, nods his head. He looks at the other guy. He nods at him. They both take kind of like a covering position in front of you. They move forward, make contact again with the Cryptics gang. and eventually they start leading you through the streets. As you make your way through the streets, you can see certain locations have had a lot, like crazy amount of damage has taken place. Um, while you guys are moving there, the camera pans and gets to the scene where Ian, Trauma, and Machine are at. ID card. You guys would remember at the end of the last session, the Cryptics gang member that you allied said he knows the way in the direction where Nero's apartment should be at. And he told you that there's one wrinkle in the problem, that the path leads to a focal point, basically, where Chaos Gang, their rivals, have kept them at bay, unable to get past them. They're very well entrenched. At that point, you guys get to the scene and you see that there are multiple gang members, including two gang members with rocket launchers seem to be firing in random directions. What do you guys plan at this point?
Machine will be down on one knee, kind of surveying the whole layout here, and turn towards Trauma and Yen. We need to somehow take out that missile launcher. We need to get both of those guys out of here.
Or we need to find place under cover. Be able to, I don't know, either approach them or just get around. And Yin, she seems not as cool-headed as she was. Just kind of seeing the onslaught of people being more out in the open than she's used to. Seeing kind of light around her even. You know, this darkness is just lit up by the fires and the lights. This is definitely out of her element. And she looks to both Trauma and Machine. But, I will defer to you for, your advice. I am highly, inexperienced with these situations.
Well, probably one person can get around the back. Take care of those goons with the rockets. I can think of somebody, if you're comfortable with it.
Scaling buildings and killing people with giant weapons. Yes?
Yeah. Good thing is, unless they're suicidal, they're probably going to be hesitant to shoot you from that close with a rocket. Trick's getting up there.
I've climbed many buildings that I can do. I think maybe I can do it. Just take 2 off that.
Mm-hmm. As you guys are discussing Yin, you notice, not as much, but you feel a hand on your shoulders and the familiar voice. Go ahead.
It appears you've lost someone, sister.
And probably from the front, Trauma and Machine are looking back to Yin, even though she's kind of got the full face covering, that skin on her face, which is showing just pales, and she slowly turns her head around. Brother. Hi.
Oh, fuck yeah, we got backup.
Ying just
Machine
looks... yeah, go ahead.
Machine to turn around and big stupid smile on his face.
Yes, back up. with me in the stacks. And he looks around and has a disgusted look on his face. Why are you chasing our employee?
Well, Nero seems to have, he seems to have gone rogue.
Yes, that is what I have deduced. I've been watching you. Watching you fail. I guess some things never change.
And Yen's kind of shoulders just kind of slouch more forward. And as you can just see kind of the disappointment just creeping up upon her on her body language. And she kind of cowls a bit to Yang. I am deeply sorry, brother.
And you wonder why Father chose me. Do not worry, I am here to set things right as usual. What is the situation? He seems like a lot more agitated than you have seen him in a long time.
Well, I thought I could trust Nero with the...
I do not want to hear your excuses, sister. I want to know how we can find Nero so we can gut him from balls to brains.
Yes, well, we have to get past the Chaos Gang. We've made allies so far of the Cryptics, and
Machine will kind of cut her off, and his smile, fades from happy, and he's like, well, right now we got two assholes with rocket launchers blocking our view.
yeah,
Maybe we could use the cryptids for a diversion. Maybe sneak around back there and take those missile launchers out.
Good idea. He simply looks for any other comments.
We gotta get the most out of the cryptics, or else they're gonna fall apart. I got a shotgun. I'll lead them in.
Yang turns to, you would see these two gang members with him. They're both Oriental. And he says, you'll go with them.
Yin and Trauma, you guys immediately note that the gang members that Yang is pointing to seem very familiar. And Trauma, you quickly make the connection that they're the ones you saw watching you
At the bar?
at the bar.
so it will be the three of us who sneak around back.
You and I, sister. Then Machine if he wants to, or if he feels he would be better served going in the front. What say you, Machine?
Maybe I'll let you guys do the sneaky stuff, and I'll cover you from behind. What do you say, Trauma?
Works for me.
So, Yin and Yang, what is your plan on sneaking up? If you could, do you have like any plans so that I know what I can tell you to roll?
So where are the rocket launchers at? Can I get are they just up here on the top
Yes.
here tower?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
And these stairs are
thinking maybe-
blocked. These stairs here.
Yes. So they are blocked in the sense that there is no way to approach or go up them without drawing all the fire. There is very little cover.
something like that.
Yes.
Go down
Yes.
this alley, climb up here, go across, leap from one side to the other. I think that's the only thing I see that we could do.
And then have the
Mhm.
cryptics like open fire down here or something.
Yeah, just have them start
Yeah.
pushing forward and causing
I would have
chaos.
I would take an assault team with me. Just whoever the craziest people are in the cryptics, I'd just straight up ask their gang sergeant, leader, whoever's here, just give me
Mhm.
2 of your craziest fucks and we'll charge up the staircase.
Ooh! All right. Machine, you know that your weapon has, of everyone present here, your weapon has the most, has the range, apart from the rocket launchers, to get at everyone. So if you want, you can potentially also provide covering fire, or you can be assault team. So you have those options.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe if I could sit at a position, maybe over here or something, and just watch the targets, and if they're spotted by any of these guys, then I'll attack.
All right. So trauma. So when you bring up the idea, the cryptics gang. The biggest balls I've seen in the stacks for quite some time. I'll go with you. And he kind of cocks his, pump action shotgun. You can see it is not a combat version. It's more civilian. You guess that at max it has 2 rounds before it needs to be reloaded. He says, I have 3 of my best down there. They've just been keeping an eye. They've been drawing a lot of fire from those fucks with the rocket launchers. And he kind of looks back at Yin and Yang, and Yin and Yang, you're more diminutive in size compared to this gang member. He definitely towers over you. He looks at Trauma and Machine, who are more similar in his size. I've not seen you in action, he looks at Yang. I've seen her in action, and he kind of makes a face that gives this look that he is not sure if she's all there. But this might be crazy enough for it to work. Fine. Follow me. And he starts leading the way down.
Machine will say to Trauma as he's leaving, "Hey, good luck, brother."
Yeah, you too.
All right. So Trauma, you make your way down as well. Yin and Yang. 1 minute. Let me do this.
So Yang, as he's walking forward, puts on this helmet, and it seems to be new. And when he pulls down the face mask, it's not just like a normal face mask anymore. It's actually a mempo, which is a Japanese oni mask that he pulls across his face and kind of fixes it on the other side, latches it down.
Nice. Awesome.
Yin will occasionally be giving glances over to Yang, but mostly eyes straight ahead or analyzing kind of the area around, but she's definitely making a point to not directly look at Yang.
And Machine will follow with them for a moment until they get to a position, and he'll tap Yin on the elbow and kind of quietly, "You got this, Chi-Chi."
She'll kind of smile under her mask. Thanks, Dean. I better see you on the other side of this.
Oh yeah, dinner and a movie.
Dinner and a movie.
All right. With that, Machine, you're set up. Trauma, you're at the base of the stairs. The cryptic gang member has taken you down a route that has kept you away from the sights of the guys on the stairs, where it's not going to last for very long. he radios into the other side of the stairs. And pretty much you're kind of like in a pincer movement. The way he set it up for you is that the 3 of his members are on one side of the stairs, the 4 of you are on the other side. Machine, you can see all of this kind of forming up below you. The Chaos Gang is, their eyes are everywhere, they're very alert, but they don't see anyone just yet. Yin and Yang, as you guys, take stock of the situation, and Yang, as you kind of measure up the approach, you see that there are 3 challenges in front of you. First one is to get to waypoint 1, which is from where you are to that end. Climb up along that scaffolding. That's challenge number 2. Make your way across to point 3, at which point you'll be able to engage with those rocket launchers.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Yep.
Okay, I want... So which order are you guys going? I'm not going to ask you to roll initiative yet because you have not been noticed, so...
I would think Yin and I would go last. And Machine,
Okay.
I don't know. Machine is going to lay down covering fire from there. Is that right?
Yes.
He might go last then.
Yeah, I was
no,
thinking I might wait till you guys are noticed,
Mhm.
or
Well, hopefully
Yeah.
us two won't be noticed. That's the whole idea, but...
yeah.
So the thing is, just keep in mind that it is going to take you some time to get there,
Mhm.
which means that till you get there, the rocket launcher guys have open fire on anyone coming up the stairs.
My thinking was we're waiting until 1, they either make it in position, or 2, they get spotted. Because if they get spotted, then we all just have to go for it. If they don't get spotted, we can just wait till they get in position. I mean, no one's actively fighting really too much right now.
Good point.
That was my thought.
Mhm.
Then if they get spotted, then now we have to be a distraction. Was my thinking. Now I have to run up the stairs and just see what happens.
That works
So
for me.
That was my thinking.
All right. So Yin and Yang, start off with giving me a stealth roll as you guys make your way to waypoint 1.
With which attribute? Dexterity?
Dexterity, yes. Stealth plus dex.
Hey.
Ooh, how does this look as you guys make your way to waypoint 1? This is the second time you guys are working as a team.
So Yin takes a deep breath, most of her rebreather, relaxing, kind of shrugging off the disappointment and everything she felt from both Mr. Sachs and her brother. Standing back up straight, shoulders pushed back, regaining some confidence as she's getting to work. And she instantly kind of drops into almost the shadows and continues to kind of sneak up forward. She makes sure to keep eyes everywhere, especially on Yang, making sure he's not spotted either.
When Yang moves forward, he does so extremely quickly, but at the same time, he's sticking to the shadows, sticking behind obstacles. He's rolling, he's flipping, he's sliding. Yin has probably never seen him move so quickly or so much with purpose. She can tell that, before they all started this, just how anxious and rigid he was, almost like a cat ready to pounce, definitely full of anxiety and anger, even through how he was speaking, and just very curt. And he kind of shows that in his actions, as he's very direct but does it all very well.
Nice. With that, Yin and Yang get to waypoint 1. At this point, they can see clearly down, and they can make out 3 of the Chaos Gang members that are looking around. A little further away to the right, there are 3 more gang members, and one kind of at level with them, but he's looking right down at the stairs and not in your location. To get from waypoint 1 to waypoint 2, you will need to do in Yin's case, an exert with Dex. In Yang, given the roleplay you just did, I would say exert with strength as you start climbing up the scaffolding to get to waypoint 2.
Okay, so exert and strength for me, right?
Yes. All right. So Yin and Yang, Yin, start making your way up and you are like a cat. Yang, you see Yin is moving quickly. She's on point. And just as you are rigid and focused and there's an anger welling up inside of you, you sensing, even through this bond of siblings, something else is similar but different is boiling up within Yin. Something is pushing her to her limits at this point. As you're making your way up, Yang, you nick yourself on one of the metal rods protruding. You have an option. You can either take 3 damage or give your position away.
I'll take the damage.
All right. And with that, you guys get to waypoint 2. To get to from waypoint 2 to waypoint 3, roll me a final stealth plus dex check. Yin, how does that look with that kind of a roll?
So Yin, very cat-like, kind of scaling the second obstacle, hand over hand, using her legs a lot to kind of get up. Very, almost kind of animalistic in the way she's climbing, but very strategic. And it's almost like when she gets to the top, making it to the third obstacle there, and past that, it's at least to Yang. She almost vanishes, kind of blending right into the building, pressing against it, sneaking alongside it, and finally arriving at the objective. Her head kind of pops out as she looks to Yang, and she extends a hand, just waiting for him.
Yang, how does this look? And as you're getting closer to the target, there is one more slight misstep. A metal rod falls down. Doesn't make too much of a noise, but it's enough to get the attention of one of the rocket launcher guys.
So he spotted me, is that correct? So kind of as Yen's extending a hand, he kind of like almost swipes at it to push it away, and as he does, just makes this rattling sound as this rod falls. And as it does, this gang member's eyes turn towards him, and Yang simply just sprints in the gang member's direction as he draws his sword and leaps into the air for him.
Excellent. I want you to roll me a d6.
Okay.
Ooh. As you're sprinting towards him, he sees the motion. He's like, what the fuck? And he lets go of a rocket in your direction, but it is not well aimed, and these are not smart rockets. The rocket goes past you. You're not even anywhere close to it, and there is a huge explosion out here in the distance as the rocket hits. And with that, everyone on the ground is alerted. Trauma machine, Yang, give me your initiative rolls.
Oh, I'm hidden. Okay, never mind. Ignore that.
Am I currently in this position, or was I down
Up to
here?
you. Where would you have liked to be? From there or from down? From there, you are at level, but from down, you definitely have a disadvantage because of the height. All right.
Alright,
Go
so am I
ahead.
starting this off?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So I'm guessing I'm able to move to the first one here, the one that Yang has decided to appear to and charge
Mm-hmm.
at. She, even though he was angry with her before, disappointed, just the combination of the drugs, the adrenaline, just her being able to do better as always, as she always has, even if her father didn't recognize it. She could feel that superiority kind of come back, seeing him spotted. She smirks underneath her mask. And she takes a chance in Yang's distraction to go after the one that he was after and end his life.
How does that look? Yang, as you're charging up and this guy has turned at you and let go of a rocket loose, you see a blur of motion somersaulting above you.
So she quickly kind of dashes by, jumping over him, jumping over the head of the Chaos Gang member with the rocket launcher, and easily kind of drawing her blade at the same time as she lands, just cutting him in half quickly, and watching kind of the body slide down and onto the ground. She looks to the remaining Chaos Gang member, looks to Yang, stands up straight, kind of cocks her head slightly, almost in a definitely a cocky manner.
Nice. And as you do that, as a style with these blades, there is a spurt, a geyser of blood that spurts off this guy as his body slowly slides down. The people down on the next landing below, they feel it's raining, but it's red, and they look up and they see the body of their comrade kind of coming down, and they're like, "The fuck is happening?" This guy, he sees motion up there, and he targets you, Ian. Which is a miss. Yang, it's your turn.
Yeah, Yang, as the blood is just flying everywhere and the body's begins to slide down. He gets there just after she dispatches him, and he literally just with his left arm just swings it like almost a backhand at the body and just hits it out of the way. And as he hits it, the body kind of breaks in two. From it was just kind of stuck by fibers and whatever, and it just kind of goes falling down. And he doesn't stop. He continues to rush at the next gang member, kind of leaping into the air as he hits the body and goes to attack this one if he is in ranged.
Jesus Christ.
Nice.
Oh my god.
Oh, nice.
And Yang, you notice that you cut a deep gash into this guy. A deep gash. You almost sever his arm off. Yin, you're behind Yang, and you notice now you're a little closer that these gang members seem sturdier, better built, much better health and shape. And he's like, oh, you're gonna pay for that, you fuck. And he drops the rocket launcher and he pulls out what looks like a K-bar knife. His one arm dangling from the cut Yang just made.
Are there criticals in this system?
Um,
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
no,
Okay.
I don't think so. Not that I know. All right, Trauma, you're up.
Yeah, upon hearing the sound of a rocket going off, he is kind of immediately just says, "Time's now," and he taps the cryptic on the shoulder and starts sprinting up the stairs and just yells out, "Don't stop or you're dead!" Everybody following him. And
Nice.
I'm just gonna turn the corner, and where about would I get to on the staircase?
I think I would say you would get about here.
And just as I'm going up, just take a couple shots at the first guy I see.
Mm-hmm. Is this with the burst?
It is.
Okay. So as you're running up and you shoot at him with the burst, the running motion and the kickback from the shotgun, the shot goes a little wide as it just kind of goes above. He's like, what the fuck? We're under attack. This guy, seeing that the attack is in place, comes charging up next to you, Trauma, and he shoots his weapons at the same guy you were attacking. Which misses as well. He's like, this motherfucker is crazy, and he starts running up and now beside you as well. He too tries to take out the same guy. That's definitely a hit. And you can see that the shot kind of hits that guy's like upper arm, almost blows it off, and it's kind of dangling by what looks like, fibers and strands. Like, oh! Machine, you're up.
Alright, I'm gonna fire here.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna do so with a burst from his combat rifle.
Nice. So you have a +2 mod. No.
There we go again.
The Agleron of Cyberpunk.
Yes, the Agleron of Cyberpunk. And with that, as Machine, you're taking aim. The Chaos Gang guy is also moving behind the railings, and your bullets hit, like, kind of ricochet off the metal. What's up?
I got the automatic hit thing, right?
Yes.
Let's go ahead and do it.
All
Let's go ahead.
right. How does that look as you kill this guy? Because that was enough to kill him.
Oh, nice. All right, so he takes aim and he kind of shifts from one target to the next as he's watching Yin and Yang flow up there and chop people in half. So he doesn't want to risk hitting them, so he shifts his target to the next, who might be looking in their direction, and then a couple of rounds rip up the steps and then through the guy's torso.
Nice. This cryptic guy sees that his comrade's running up. He does the same. He kind of comes behind you, Trump, and he yeah. 1 minute. He takes a shot as well, which misses. The Dragon Gang member is behind you guys. He sees all these shots missing. He tries to take aim and shoot his weapon, which is a hit, taking this guy out. The help is doing better.
Yeah,
Good.
that's
This
That's
guy-
Yang's philosophy.
Yeah. This guy sees that an assault is in progress. He's like, take these motherfuckers out, and he starts shooting at the cryptics. Which misses. The other dragon member comes running behind, and he's gonna shoot at the next guy. Which misses. Rocket launcher 1 guy is dead. Rocket launcher 2 guy. He now sees Yang up in his face. He drops the rocket launch. Comes at you with his K-bar knife.
Miss.
Miss.
Yeah, he just parries it and kind of swats the arm away.
Nice. This guy sees that the cryptics are coming at him. He's going to take a shot at the cryptics, and let's see. He hits. 17. That definitely hits. Takes out the first guy. He kind of nicks him in the arm. Well placed shot, but not enough damage. This guy shoots as well. They're now trying to concentrate their fire on the people coming up the stairs. He hits this guy, and they kind of like, these are like ricochet bullets, not like doing much damage, but Trauma, you can see like the guys up on that landing up here are getting in better shots because of the kind of like the height advantage that they have.
And they get to shoot down a narrow.
It's kind of like fish coming, fish in a barrel that's coming up.
Yeah.
Whew. And he kind of hits this guy again, the same. And they kind of their hate. They're not military guys like you guys. It's pure hate that's driving them, and they keep shooting at the cryptics, not realizing that the people with them are more, which is good for you guys. This guy comes running up, but he's a little too far to make his shot. That brings you up, Ian.
Ian looks down at one of the dropped rocket launchers,
Just gonna do the same thing.
contemplating on whether to either pick it up and shoot down or finish the job for her brother. She debates it for a moment, but figures he would probably be more mad if she did. And she decides to pick up the rocket launcher instead.
All right, nice.
She's never held a gun in her hands before, and this is definitely not a good starter.
Okay.
But she'll attempt it.
Just give me a minute, 1 minute, okay? I just want to confirm something.
Which way do I point it?
You hear a loud explosion as the top of the building is blown off. And 3 bodies go flying from the top.
Ian would be fine.
Well, they got the job done.
Oh boy. Okay. So Yin, you have some options, okay? Since you had to pick it up, that is your main action. You see that the rocket launcher takes 2 projectiles. One has been spent. There's one already in it. Now, you can choose to shoot it, but it would be at a massive penalty and you don't know what the hell is going to happen. Or you can take the time to kind of set yourself, and when it's your turn next, actually take aim and shoot. What's your choice?
Yin is going to put it on her shoulder, kind of adjusting it pretty heavy, but she's got enough strength to hold it, and she gets down on one knee kind of closes one eye, aims down whatever, maybe sights or maybe not even sights, just by vision,
Okay.
down at the Chaos Gang.
Okay, so that will be your turn. Nice. This guy sees the cryptics coming back up, and they're not being taken down with the weapon. As he starts taking aim, misses. Yang.
Oh my god! What is this?
Nice.
Nice. How does this look as you take him out?
So as he kind of parries the knife blow, he kind of pulls his arm out and drives the katana up through his armpit and out the guy's mouth, and then quickly withdraws it and then just thuds a front kick into his chest, and he goes flying off the landing and goes splat on the ground below.
Nice. Trauma, you're up.
I'm gonna keep
Trauma's
moving my
going.
way up these stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Trauma's gonna try to... Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, trauma, not machine.
Whoa!
So
Who
you,
am I?
I'm Trauma, obviously.
with that, you kind of
My
come
bad,
up
sorry.
the stairs, Trauma, and go ahead.
Yeah, same thing. Just gonna burst at this guy now.
Mm-hmm.
Trauma's just quickly trying to move up the stairs. Not full speed because he wants to keep his footing, but almost as fast as he can go, while also shooting, just to keep laying it down and keep everybody's attention. Because those two up there are kind of sitting ducks from his perspective, and one of them is paying his bills, so...
Nice. That's definitely a hit. How does that look as you take this guy out?
So he peers up with his revolver to get another shot in, and just over and over,
Nice.
just lacing him with shots, and until he falls from the railings.
This guy, seeing that what he just did, and he kind of, that kind of emboldens him, and he starts charging up the stairs, gets up with you. He realizes that those guys are out of his weapons range, and he proceeds to reload his weapon. This guy does the same. He kind of comes charging up. He's flanking you. Again, you're out of range. Machine, you're up.
Machine is going to try to clear the way up here for them. Get
Nice.
some fire off of Rama. And he is going to first.
Ah, that just misses. Oh man.
Oh, nice.
We have a Wrangler on. This guy comes running up behind Trauma as well and chooses to do the same, reload his weapon. The dragon members come up. They have a pistol. It's a little bit out of the way. They'll still try and shoot because they have very, very boss up there. So I'll give them a negative modifier for the range. Still fucking hits.
My boys.
It's a good hit. You can see the revolver hold Chaos Gang guy kind of gets pushed back, and he gets kind of peppered with shots in his chest. He now sees the true horror of the situation. He realizes that the man dressed in black is the real threat and the real target. So he takes aim, kind of moves forward a bit and takes aim at you, Trauma, which misses. The other Dragon Gang, he too is going to shoot with the...
I'm telling you. What do I need you guys
Yeah.
for? I got my Dragon Gang members.
He takes out the guy who was shooting at Trauma. These guys are definitely like keeping up their word. And
Mobsters, not gangsters.
This guy is dead. This guy, he sees that half his people are dead. There's blood raining from all over. Bodies raining from all. He is gonna try and make a morale check. He succeeds. He looks up and he sees the two fighters up there, and he, fuck is happening up there? And he kind of takes a shot at you, Yang, which is a miss. This guy makes a morale check as well. Fails. Like, fuck this, man! I didn't sign up for this. Fuck this! And with that, he runs away. This guy does a morale check as well. He succeeds. He sees the people coming up here. He sees the two of you up there. He turns his weapons on. Let's see if he can. I don't think he's gonna shoot randomly. Yang again. Which is a miss. Nice. Who's this? He's too far to do anything. Still coming up. Yin, you're up.
Yin knows if she aims carefully, she's probably gonna miss. So instead of aiming, directly here, she's gonna aim over here. Mostly to scare them. And hey, if she hits, she hits.
Alright. Go for it. Roll
Can Yang try to tell her something before she shoots?
Go ahead.
After he kind of boots the guy off and kind of like ducks down, he turns around and sees Yang about what she's gonna do, and his eyes get huge. Maybe you should let me have that, sister.
But there's another one for you.
Maybe you should let me have that, sister.
Why?
At that point, Yin, go ahead. Give me a 1d20 plus 1 minus 4.
Oh no!
1d20 minus 3.
How do I
1d20 minus 3. The minus 4 is just because of your diminutive size and hit on it.
Not a better roll.
Oh,
Right
Nice.
on the money.
Blows up, yeah, perfect shot doesn't blow up anybody.
It's scary
yeah.
though. Intimidating.
14's the target, right?
Yeah, 14's the target.
Mhm.
Nice.
And Yin, while you are trying to aim it in that direction, you don't do a good job because you never handle weapons, and somehow you aim it correctly at this guy. Roll me 3d10. What does it look as this rocket makes it to where this guy stands?
So Ian, being the daredevil she is, does not listen to her younger brother's advice. Almost deaf to it. She's too excited to have something this big in her hands. And she takes aim, attempting to scare, maybe, shake the morale of those still down there. But as she's aiming, she leans slightly to the right. It's still a little bit too heavy for her. And the rocket kind of, as she clicks the trigger, rocket spins and beelines straight for this one here. And all she can see from the building top perch is just this mess of debris and blood. She smiles very widely underneath her mask and looks up to her brother almost excitedly. What was that about not shooting?
With that, the last Chaos Gang member, he's like, fuck, 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 and he starts running away, and one of the Chaos Gang members steps forward and shoots him in the back, taking this guy out, and with that, you guys drop out of initiative.
Yang looks over to Yin and shakes his head. And is there another rocket launcher there?
Yes, right at your feet.
Yeah, he
of the guy you
he
killed.
he bends down and scoops it up as he sheathes his sword, and kind of like throws it over his back.
Ian will kind of stand up, shrugging the rocket launcher off her shoulder, watching it clatter to the ground. She looks down at it, looks back up to Yang. I probably won't be doing that again. Too big.
He just walks past her.
And the feeling of disappointment kind of comes back after the unwinding of the fight, and kind of solemnly makes her way behind him. Still impressed though with her handiwork.
Down the stairs, Trauma, the cryptic gang member that led you here, he turns to you. I don't know who you guys are, and what the hell you guys are doing in the stacks, but you helped us take this place, and I'm hearing reports that my gang has won the evening. You've made a friend. If you need help in the stacks, look for the cryptics. The name's John, by the way. Kind of extends a hand.
Drama.
We return the favor. Warriors greeting. And then
Don't mention it. You got us here. Consider it even.
I like it. Well, the place you're looking for is up these stairs. You take a right. You go down for the next 3 blocks. It'll be an apartment building. That's the one you're looking for. You should have no resistance up till there.
Sounds good.
start walking my way up, and of course, doing the usual, picking through corpses real quick as we're going along, scavenging ammo if I can.
Mm-hmm.
Not taking too long because we're on timelines. Just quick, pat, nothing, pat, nothing, move on.
Yeah, most of the ammo that you find is not like, it's not, how do you say, like the same caliber as the ones you have. You do find some ammo, but you're like, this is not
It's
worth my time.
trash. Yeah,
Trash,
it's just
exactly.
ganger shit they made in the basement.
Yeah. Eventually, you guys, Trauma, Machine, Yin and Yang, you all link up at this landing, and Trauma, you start leading them away from this place in the direction that the maniacs, the Cryptics gang, told you about. 15-20 minutes, you guys walk a few blocks, and eventually you get to what looks like stacks apartments. Yin, this place definitely does look familiar to you.
She takes a look around, and I'm assuming maybe even recognizes the apartment building, hopefully. She'll gesture to it. Oh. We finally made it. She'll start approaching, not really caring if anyone else is following behind. Seems to be walking with purpose, with almost kind of anger. Like everything's culminating.
And Yin, you lead them now because you've been here with Neuro's apartment. Yang, Trauma, and Machine follow closely. The Dragon Gang members are keeping their respectable distance behind their boss. Eyes peeled to make sure that there are no other threats. And with that, you guys get to Yang's apartment.
Yes.
Sorry, Neuro's apartment. My bad.
You live here?
Yeah. This is where I commit my serial murders.
Yin, you get here. The door is locked.
Yen will pull out her phone. I'm assuming she has control from here, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She'll look to the other three, especially to Trauma, Machine. When we get inside, I do not know how hostile Nero will be, as I'm holding a few of his things hostage. Now, all the shit we've been through today, if possible, if you could hold him down for a bit while I wash the stench off me, be appreciated.
We need him alive, sister.
Why?
To question what he is up to. And then you can kill him. Do not worry. You can torture him if you want, but we need him alive for now.
I never said I was killing him right away. Do you think that I would not enjoy it? To torture him after what he's put me through this evening?
We must get information from him first. That is all I am saying.
How about this? You get information while I bathe. Get all the information you need. Secure the codebreaker.
He looks like sidelong. Like, what do you need a bath for?
Because she fell in shit.
Yes.
Yang actually smiles. I did wonder what I was smelling.
Whole
Yes.
canal full of shit.
Again. Secure him. He will not be getting anything back until I'm done. Even after that. Just promise him that he will. As long as he informs of us of what he's done, what he plans to do. Tell him that he will get all his information back once he does. Otherwise it's mine to do with what I wish.
Yang looks at Yin sidelong, but doesn't reply.
Are we clear?
I will tell him that I will not kill him, and I will begin chopping off his fingers, and Trauma here will keep him alive.
How about you wait for me?
Very
You've
well.
suffered enough humiliation this night.
I suppose I can wait.
I'll be quick.
Fine.
And with that, she turns on the screen, her compad, unlocking just the door. And she pushes it open slowly. Nero, it's Yin.
As you open the door, there is no response to your voice or call. Yin, Yang, Trauma, Machine, you guys enter the room. Look around. Things seem to be in a disarray. The computer screen shows a message in red that reads, I forget, something to the tune of
Stay put.
stay
You want
put.
information back?
Yeah. But there is no sign of Neuro. I want all of you to give me a notice plus wisdom.
What was that?
A notice plus wisdom.
Machine ain't noticing anything.
Yin, you look around and something seems odd. Neuro should be someone who's always glued to his computing system. You were expecting him to be cowering here, scared, witless, waiting for your arrival, or whoever it is. But there is no sign of him. You look around, you see his jacket that he generally wears, that is not there. Some clothes seem to be missing as well. And as your eyes kind of adjust to the dim light in this room, you notice that something is off with the ceiling. Some of the ceiling, what do you call those, like slats seem to be misaligned.
Mm.
You stand on a few stack of boxes and you move the ceiling and you can see that there is some like a crawl space up there. You put your head in, you shine a flashlight. You notice that there is an alternate way out of this place.
And just the anger as she was kind of casing the room, looking, is building and building. She drops down from the boxes, looks to the computer, takes out her smaller dagger, throws into the screen angrily. He's gone. Where the fuck did he go?
Machine will move towards, if there's a bedroom or bathroom, have his combat rifle kind of pointed towards the floor, but at the ready, and turn towards everybody when he notices there's no sign. I never trusted Hacker Boy, right from when I met him. But be careful. I wouldn't put it past him to leave an explosive trap behind or something.
Ian is going to start trying to look for the code breaker, see if he left it. Anything, any sign where he might have gone.
Ian, you notice that the disc that you had given Neuro, the box is still there. The box is opened. You observe the computing system. You're not quite sure what it all means, but you can see that there's a disk in the system. It looks very similar to the one that was in the box that is still attached to the machine.
She'll take it out, kind of examine it. Does it look like?
It looks, and when you take it and put it back in the box, it fits perfectly. It looks like it belongs there. You're sure that this is the disk that was originally inside this box.
She'll kind of let out a sigh of relief, her shoulders going forward. She relaxes lightly and she closes the box, keeps a hand on it, just staring down. She keeps her eyes down before taking the box and trying to look down to find some place to put it, maybe in the jeans of the bloody jeans of the outfit she took.
Yang steps past everyone and he begins looking at one of the monitors. Something's been copied. Look. And it's very stereotypical status bar to 100% and then a blinking cursor.
It's been copied.
Something has.
Really? Yin seems to almost perk up at that. How would he have the computing power to even maybe copy it?
Perhaps he has not copied the program, but something else. Something he wanted to take with him.
Maybe.
Yin, I want you to make me a no plus int roll.
Not something I'm good at.
Fridge. I'm hungry.
It's a hungry boy.
You see, Machine, you see in the fridge that there is some food, some modern days 2049 Hot Pocket frozen.
Fucking Hotpockets right on.
And you know, there's a whole bunch of them, different flavors and whatnot. Yen, you're perplexed with the whole copying business. You're not quite sure what has been copied, but you can see it now too. Something doesn't sit right with you. You're not sure what. And as you guys are looking around, you can hear running feet approaching this apartment. The door flies open and there's a dragon member standing there. Boss,
What?
I have some news.
Hurry up! What is it?
The men who are tracking Neuro, they saw him leave the building. They were going to apprehend him when he got into a vehicle, a large red vehicle. There was a man driving it, seemed like an older gentleman, had some facial work done. And they peeled off.
Older gentleman, describe him.
Graying hair, slicked back. He was wearing sunglasses. There was some, I think the member said, some older music playing on the system.
He looks to Yin. Valentine.
Of course.
Valentine.
Fucker.
And just at that time, Yang, you feel your compad beeping. You pick it up and you see that it's a call from Valentine. And with that, the screen fades to black. Thank you for playing CP 2049.
Why did I ever answer that call?